You don't need 20/20 vision to enjoy what's coming in the new core set. Ha! Get it? Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. Wow, my voice sounds a little rough today, doesn't it? I don't know what's going on. Am I getting cold? I'm not sure. Do I have core 20/20 fever? Well, let's talk about something real quick, my friends. The way they're doing the spoiler set, review in terms of Wizards of the Coast dumping spoilers on us, they are just gonna dump everything out super, super fast. I'm pretty sure it's within like 1 week, we're getting like the whole set. So here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in chunks. We're gonna do multiple videos a day because that's the only way I'm gonna be able to handle all this stuff. So let's dive into the cards. Let's not waste any time here. We got a Team Sis, All-Seeing, 3 blue, 3 colors for a 4/5 flyer. Pay 1 blue and 2 colorless and tap them. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. And whenever a Teamis All-Seeing deals damage to an opponent, you may reveal your hand. If cards with at least 6 different converted mana costs are revealed this way, that player loses the game. And that's on a 4/5 flying body. Dude, I honestly really, really like the ability of this, genuinely. I mean, the drawing card ability is a nice way to get to use its winning the game ability, because in most cases it's going to be a 2-player scenario where you're going to be able to take out your opponent. This also has commander applications, don't get me wrong. The artwork is absolutely amazing. I love this Sphinx just standing there all serene with a spiked crown, and the wings are all spread, and you've got 6 eyes on the wing, 6 blue glowing glyph eyes. That ties into the All-Seeing, but it also ties into the concept of the ability where if you reveal 6 cards that have different mana costs, then you're going to make somebody lose. I love when things are represented in the artwork numerically in this fashion, so I definitely enjoy that tie-in. This feels like a really fun card. It doesn't feel like it's overpowered by any means at all. In fact, I think the tap to draw 2 and discard a card is the only thing that makes this card even remotely playable. But dude, this thing is going to be a lot of fun in Commander, and also it could be a lot of fun if you happen to get this guy in your sealed pool. I mean, 6 mana for a 4/5 flyer is nothing to sneeze at when you're playing in a limited style event, and smoothing out your hand, and also in a limited event you could easily have a bunch of cards dumped in your hand. So this thing can win games, man. I'm all aboard on that train. You better believe it. Now the next card we're going to talk about is dirty. Cavalier Flame, 3 red, 2 colorless, elemental knight, 6/5, 1 red, 1 colorless. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So it's got fire breathing on all your dudes. When Cavalier Flame enters the battlefield, discarding a number of cards and then draw that many cards. So you're going to get to fix your hand problems. If you got a bunch of junk in your hand you can't use, pitch it all and replace it. That's pretty nutty. And when Cavalier Flame goes to the graveyard, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, or X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. Like, dude, this is 5 mana for a 6/5. I'm noticing a trend of heavy color in terms of the blue card we just looked at had 3 blue in its cast, 3 red in the cast for this Cavalier Flame. But my God, I mean, this feels actually competitive. This 6/5 fire breathing that will fix your hand, and also when it goes, depending on how many graveyard cards, if you have lands in your graveyard, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna get smacked for that too. Dude, this overall feels powerful. And for Cavalier Flame, I mean, look at that artwork. This is amazing. It almost looks like a fiery hellhound that he's riding. And there's just flames everywhere. You've got that flaming horse rearing up with its hooves, flames coming up off its head. There's flames all around him, and he's got a big sword made of flame. Like, this is, you're not getting away from flame. And as an added note, notice that he is an elemental knight, an elemental tribal. Elementals actually are going to matter here. There are multiple cards that genuinely care about elementals, as we will see as we continue on our magical, mystical set review journey. Next up, Chandra's Embercat. We got another elemental right here. 1 red, 1 colorless for a 2/2, so it's already a bear, and it's an elemental cat. Tap it to add a red mana to your mana pool. You can spend this mana only to cast an elemental spell or a Chandra planeswalker spell. And the flavor text says, Furballs, try dealing with fireballs. Chandra Nalar. Ha, ha. Now, I like the artwork. You can see the flaming cat lighting up the night. It's obviously nighttime here. It's all dark around the cat. I enjoy that kind of flamey effect in the middle of the evening. I like the way that you can see the flames are like lighting up the ground and everything. You can see it reflected in Chandra's goggles, which are laying there as well. It's a nice little touch to tie it specifically into Chandra and show the closeness that this cat has with Chandra, with the whole, like, look, she has no problem leaving her goggles laying around, and I've leapt up. I'm going to knock him off the desk. Do you think Chandra's Ember Cat does annoying nonsense like regular cats where it's just kind of like, and you're like, don't you do it, and it knocks the goggles down. It's like, damn you. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that I think about it, the little spray bottle that people use to keep their cats in line, it's going to work amazing on an Ember Cat. Get out of here. Next up, we've got Chandra's Regulator. I didn't have too much to say about the Ember Cat in terms of playability. It's a fine card. Chandra's Regulator. I like this. 1 red, 1 colorless. We can see that the set is really obviously focused around Chandra here. So, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a legendary artifact, which makes perfect sense because it's Chandra's and there is only one of these. Although I guess there's been like multiple iterations of it. So is it really? Is it really legend? Anyways, what does it do? Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of a Chandra Planeswalker, you may pay 1. If you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. Oh, lordy. Oh, that seems like a lot of fun if you're playing with Chandra. Good God. Especially with the mythic level Chandra. And if you didn't see us, if you didn't see the video talking about the Chandras, they were spoiled a while back. So I will link the video specifically discussing the different Chandras we've seen, the artwork and all that. A Tale of 3 Chandras is the name of the video. So it'll be linked here at the end. Take a look. So you've got that ability. You get to copy activated, you get to copy loyalty abilities and pay 1 and tap it, discard a mountain card or a red card, draw a card. So on top of giving, like, the thing about it boosting for Chandra abilities is it is pretty narrow. So adding in the whole you can discard a mountain card or a red card to draw a card makes this card a lot more playable. I really, really enjoy this card. And I like the artwork. I like that you can see the regulator there laying on a piece of red fabric. And if you look at the Chandras from the set, again, check out the video, you will see that this matches the garments that she is wearing in different ways. The different iterations of Chandra have different variations of this garment. So I'm 100% on board with this. Looking good so far, honestly. These spoilers seem pretty decent. Next up, we got Chandra Spitfire. I hope every card in the set isn't themed to Chandra, for good God's sakes. I mean, I know the Sphinx wasn't, but still. 1 red, 2 colors for a 1/3 flyer. Oh, that's interesting. It's got flyer. It's Chandra Spitfire. Yeah, I'll delete my channel now. Okay, so whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage, Chandra Spitfire gets +3/+0 until end of turn. Ooh, ooh. Every time you hit your opponent with a piece of burn, it's like a flying kiln fiend. And the flavor text says, I've lit most everything on fire. Trees, rocks, even the water. Now it's time to burn the clouds. I gotta say, I actually enjoy that concept. A pyromancer who just wants to set everything on fire. It's like, I've never burned the clouds. I'm gonna make me a flying elemental and send it up there. And the artwork, honestly, the elemental looks way, way stronger than a 1/3, truthfully, just like leaping up. You can see from the base of it, it's got like this motion of spinning. Like you could just picture this like big pillar of fire spinning up and twisting around and a mouth forming and breathing fire out of it and flaming wings coming off from the sides. And you can see Chandra in the background gesturing. This thing looks like it's being birthed from a volcano. And again, it's being done in the night, which I love. I love the contrast of the bright fiery red against like the dark black purpley nature of the night. Very cool, very nice artwork. I'm digging it. Moving on, we've got Corpse Knight. Now this is the promo version of it, so the way that they've been doing promos recently, I expect that the artwork will remain the same, so they just give the card a different treatment. So we've got 1 black, 1 white for a 2/2 zombie knight. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. And the flavor text says, with each knight that rode out from the Bone White Keep, the Queen soldiers felt their courage failing. And that is Crimea? I thought that's in Crimea for a second. Crimea, Siege of the Bone Spire. Okay, so this is a story called The Siege of the Bone Spire. This is an excerpt from. I like that. I mean, 2/2 for 2 mana, 2/2 for 2 mana is okay. And then whenever another creature comes into play, your opponent loses life. I remember when I read the ability at first, I was like, how does this work? This is a zombie knight. Why is the opponent losing life just for creatures coming out? But then I realized that's to represent the fear of an overwhelming army. And that's pretty cool. And the artwork definitely shows what is clearly an undead knight riding on an undead steed with a big sharp spear. In all honesty, I don't really care for the artwork of this one too much. It doesn't speak to me that much, but I recognize that it does look pretty creepy. It's the knight himself and the horse that doesn't speak to me. I actually like the background with kind of the black miasma that's coming off of him, and the fact that the sky is kind of cloudy. Everything's got a muted sort of like deadish look to it. I dig that. But the actual guy himself, I look at him and go, you're not doing that much for me. After that, we got Creeping Trailblazer. Creeping Trailblazer ties into the elemental theme. 1 red, 1 green for a 2/2 elemental. Other elementals you control get +1/+0. And for 1 green, 1 red, and 2 colors, he gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each elemental you control. And that's cool because you can activate that ability even when he's the only one on the board, because he will boost just by the fact that he's an elemental. The destruction of a wildfire with the tenacity of a jungle vine. That is a pretty crazy amalgamation in all honesty. You think of vines and living things. Like, if you've ever tried to make a campfire, you know that if you don't want to get like really like green, wet wood. You don't go around trying to crack branches off of like young saplings and stuff. You don't do that. You go out and you look for wood that's fallen on the ground that's all dried out and lost its life energy, its moisture, really. And so you think of like an elemental made of vines, and you would think to yourself, okay, well, that's really wet. It's not going to burn, but it's on fire. You've got fire coming out of its like neck maw, and each of its little creepy legs also is fire at the end. So that's funky. I like that. I like it definitely gives an aspect of magic, because only magic could sustain something like that. So I'm down. After that, we got Devout Decree. 1 white, 1 colorless. It's a sorcery. Exile target creature or planeswalker that's black or red. Scry 1. And it is not punishment, is the flavor text. It is not punishment. I am simply making things as they should be. Safara, Sky's Blade. So this is some white angel that is exiling something that is black or red, because, well, that's what white's all about. It's like, I'm going to punish the evil heathens. Are you playing black or red? Get wrecked. So overall, I mean, in all honesty, it feels like a very solid card. This can take care of planeswalkers. It can take care of that gross red elemental knight that we saw earlier in the spoilers. So, and it exiles them too, instead of just sending them to the graveyard, which is a nice little added bonus. The artwork's fantastic. You can see, like a devil or an imp that's been lifted up into the air with holy energy, and it's being disintegrated out into nothing. It's essentially being unmade. And the color choices for the artwork are fantastic. You have the red of the imp or devil just standing out so much against the kind of muted tone of, it almost looks like he's inside a temple, and he's being unmade by a god's will. I really enjoy the flavor of this one. It's got some nice deliciousness to it, my friends. After that, we've got Disfigure coming back with the same artwork originally that it showed up with in the Zendikar block. A very simple, straightforward card. 1 black, instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. And the flavor text says, let this serve as a reminder of your failure. Exdratha Bogwitch. And this is a very villainous kind of thing to do, where it's like, boom, I'm going to disfigure you. Now, I will admit, the idea behind disfigure is kind of like, okay, like, wouldn't disfiguring be like permanent? When you go back and you look at the card Scar puts a -1/-1 counter on it. But I also understand that for 1 black mana, being able to put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature would be too strong for what you get. I completely understand that, but at the same time, it's like you're disfigured, and it's like temporary disfigurement. At the same time, the creature that gets disfigured is in service of a planeswalker who can insta-heal them at the end of the turn, because that's what happens in Magic. Planeswalkers use their magic to heal all creatures at the end of each turn. But yeah, the idea of like an evil villainous witch just reaching out and burning, or like, you know, it's like someone comes along and tries to defy her or fails her, and she just grabs their face, and where her hand was, there's permanent marks of everything, the long tapering fingernails. You've got that necrotic energy coming off of the witch's hand. There is a lot of flavor packed into this card, and it ties in really well to the name. I'm impressed. After that, we've got Dread Presence. 1 black, 3 colors for a 3/3 nightmare. Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. You draw a card and you lose 1 life, or Dread Presence deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. It beckons silently, waiting in the darkness. This card feels really, really good, in all honesty. Like, yes, it does cost 4 mana for a 3/3, but good lord, every time you play a swamp, you can either pick up a card and keep getting more gas, or you can do 2 damage to any target. So you can hit your opponent, nail one of the creatures, a planeswalker, and you gain 2 life, which fuels future choices of drawing a card and losing a life. Like, overall, that's awesome. And I like the dark blue forest that it's hanging out in. Well, it's not a forest, I guess, actually. It's a swamp because of the murky water. So it's hanging out in this swamp. Just come with me. And it's like, why would you go with it? There's no way. Look at that thing. It's just like, it's pure black with these 2 red eyes, and the horns and the long tapering claws just scream menace. I like how it's a single solitary presence just waiting there. It's like the Dread Presence, and nothing else can stand to be in its area. All other forms of life are gone. That's what it feels like, just still silence. All noise and all life stay still when this thing's around because they're afraid of it. It's literally a nightmare embodied in physical form. Very cool. Then we've got Empyrion Eagle. This is the last spoiler we have for the video. 1 blue, 1 white, 1 colorless for a 2/3 flying bird spirit. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1. So it's a flyer lord. We've seen a number of these throughout the years. All the birds of the skies are the spirit's brood, gathered for safety under its wings. Oh, that's cool. I like this. It's an eagle spirit that considers all the other birds to be its kin, its children, and it's protective of them, and it shares its spiritual energy to protect them. I like that. That's got some nice flavor, and the artwork is enjoyable too. You've got this big eagle that's made clearly out of some kind of like spiritual energy, and you can see that there's a flock of birds flying behind it, and they are all encompassed. You can see the glow of the spirit's energy around those birds as they drift above the clouds. Man, that's some nice flavor, in all honesty. So as I said, we're gonna have to break these spoiler videos up because there's so many spoilers coming. So you can actually expect another one of these set review / spoiler videos to come out later today. You may have noticed a bit of difference behind me as well. We're changing things up. Teferi says hello. He's squinting all angry at you over there. What's up? You don't like these spoilers, punk? Get wrecked. Either way, I've got to get going. So let's roll the golden scroll. These are the people who have my back on Patreon or through channel memberships. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. It means a lot to me. I'm glad you're all here. And for now, I'm history, baby. See you later today.